What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new YouTube video. Today I want to talk about an abstract kind of concept for Redbubble, that is. Imagine if we were the only ones to create a design in a single niche. How successful would we be? Are the designs required to be high quality and good designs to actually get sales? That's what we're going to explore here today. And I'll tell you guys, from my experience, I don't think I've ever really created a design in a niche that didn't have any competitors. I mean, maybe there were a few competitors here and there, but it was really hard to find, at least for me, a concept that I can create, a design that I create with literally zero competitors. And it's not hard to find them, but it's just hard to say that I've done any kind of a design in that area. But imagine if we had that opportunity, right? Would, in that simple case, design quality actually matter? And the question is maybe. I mean, it really just depends on how good or bad your design is. I mean, you got to think about it. If you're the only one that's selling that one design and there's nobody else, you obviously have an unfair advantage. Now, the question about unfair advantage, it gets to a certain point where maybe the advantage, yeah, it's unfair, but you're shooting yourself in the foot because you have a bad design. I got this question on YouTube from actually somebody who was saying, hey, if I'm the only one, does design quality actually matter? And for me, I would say yes, it does matter, but I would say it matters a lot less, if that makes sense. And just a quick FYI, if you're the only one creating designs in a specific keyword or a specific niche, then it's probably best to dominate that specific niche. I mean, we created a video on this, and we've actually talked about it in the tagging course, but we've spoken about this, where we said when you find a specific niche, you want to create as many designs as possible, especially if they're already working. But if you're the only one there, you have opportunities to dominate in that specific niche. And the way you dominate is you create those designs with multiple different variations on that specific keyword, but adding the tags, adding the keyword as the specific tag. Now, you guys know about the course. We've talked about tags and why they're important, things like that, but it still doesn't take away from the main core concept. And the main core concept is that when you create a design and you're the only one in that specific niche, of course you're going to get some benefit. Of course you're going to get an unfair advantage, but are you going to be the only? I mean, first of all, anybody else could find that niche as well and create a design. So it's not for long that you're going to be the only one. That's first of all. Second of all, just because you're the only one doesn't guarantee you 100% success rate in terms of sales, or even conversion rate for that matter. If you guys are familiar with the conversion rates, right? For every 100 visitors that visit that specific design, how many people are converting? Same thing goes with your whole entire Redbubble shop, your Redbubble store, right? And this is why I always say, how do you know if you have good quality designs? You take the fraction, or you create a fraction rather. You take the amount of visitors you have, you put that on the bottom of the fraction, then you take the amount of sales you have and you put that on the top of the fraction. Now, some people like to count the number of sales, some people like to count the units of sales, so the number of units sold. Either way, it's irrelevant, but depending on what you want to stick to, just stick to one metric, and that will be your conversion rate. So, for example, if I had a design, let's say this was my design, and 100 people visited my store, and one person bought, then I know my conversion rate is 1%, right? And, the point here, like I said, the point is, and I'm getting to the point, is that design quality does matter, but to a point. When you have an unfair advantage, you got to realize that you are literally starting to become head and shoulders above the rest. Well, what's another example of an unfair advantage? Well, I've spoken about this, but Instagram, when we utilize Instagram to grow our Redbubble store in terms of sales, what we're really doing is we're getting ourselves an unfair advantage to majority of the competition on Redbubble. If you think about it, right? The Redbubble community doesn't really use Instagram bots and Instagram growth to grow their Redbubble stores. I mean, some of them do, but not most. It's not something that's well known in the community of Redbubble. I think we can all agree on that. And when I'm talking about bots, I'm talking about, for example, igbots.org. Let's go ahead and pull up igbots.org, right? any tool like this, they look like this. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've seen the videos, I've shown me growing the following and all that, and we're still actually doing progress reports on that. But you guys kind of know what I'm talking about here, right? When you grow the Instagram following, you market your products on Instagram, and you drive traffic from Instagram to the Redbubble store. That's an unfair advantage. Maybe a person who would typically get 2 to 10 to 50 sales a year could now get a few hundred sales a year using Instagram, right? So that's really an unfair advantage. Now, there's going to get to a point in time where it's not unfair anymore. So many people are going to know about it. So many people are going to use it. So many people are going to utilize that advantage. And then it's going to just be, like a bare minimum, like you're losing something if you don't use it. So what my point is that if you have an unfair advantage, you can create sales, but that doesn't give you the full-on, I guess you could say, exclusive right to go ahead and decrease your quality of designs. And when I say exclusive right, I'm not saying like, you guys, I'm not trying to control you guys. I'm just telling you guys from the aspect of where you're sitting in terms of sales. So for example, when we ran the bot, right, the first 18 hours we got a sale. That was an unfair advantage. If I had posted that design on Redbubble and just sat there waiting for a sale, it would have never happened within 18 hours. It's just not developed yet. The store's not developed. There's no other designs. There's no organic Google traffic on Redbubble. Nobody would have seen me. Nothing would have happened, right? And actually, I'll try to link that video in the description box down below, how I got my first sale in 18 hours. I used the Instagram bot, aka the unfair advantage, to help me grow, right? And the thing that makes businesses really, really good and differ in terms of success is the unfair advantages. Like if you look at Apple had certain unfair advantages that the competition didn't have. You look at Elon Musk with the businesses he's doing, he himself is an unfair advantage. He's so special, and he's a special asset to all of his companies that he himself is the unfair advantage, right? Like, so there's so many different ways that you can add unfair advantages to your business, and really what the word unfair advantage just really means is just that a different business does not or cannot have the capability of getting the same resources that you have, or that advantage that you have. That's why it's quote-unquote called unfair. Now, is an unfair advantage something bad? No. That just makes your business, that's like kind of like the intellectual property of your business, the IP that nobody else can acquire, right? There are all kinds of different unfair advantages, but is it something bad? No, I mean, it's something good, if you're the business owner at least. With that being said, you want to try to think about whether it costs money or it's free, regardless. Like, for example, the Instagram bot costs money. You can sit there and do organic Instagram and hope to grow, right? Whether it's free or it's paid, you have to try to figure out what kind of unfair advantages can you add to your spectrum of usage of tools that you would have had, that you wouldn't have had elsewise, right? So like, for example, if you were just a regular Redbubble creator where you just create designs, right? Let's say you learn about now tagging and title optimization, which we feature in the course. Now that's an unfair advantage, because if you think about it, most people on Redbubble don't know about that kind of stuff. Well, let's say you add another unfair advantage. You're using the Instagram bots. That's another unfair advantage. Let's say you're doing Pinterest now. That's another unfair advantage, right? Now, obviously, some methods are going to be more well-used and well-known than others. But regardless, it doesn't take away from the pure fact that the more you add, more weapons you add to your arsenal, the stronger of a business you will become and the more war-ready you're going to become. And make no mistake, when you're selling on Redbubble, when you're selling on all of these different businesses, not just Redbubble, but Zazzle, TeePublic, Merch by Amazon, any of these platforms, heck, even if you have your own website, you're in a battle, you're in a war. Because at the end of the day, there's only one victor. There's only one consumer who's going to buy from that, from one seller. There's only one winner at the end of the day. You want to make sure you're the winner by increasing the amount of unfair advantages that you have, right? A lot of people say, strike the iron while it's hot. Well, guess what? The competitive advantage allows you to create the hot iron. You don't wait for it to be hot. You're allowed to keep striking it to the point where it gets hot. You're creating your own category in a way, right? So, with that being said, guys, I guess the main takeaway of this video is just because you have an unfair advantage doesn't make you, I guess you could say fail proof. It doesn't make, it doesn't mean that you're going to be 100% successful. But what it does mean is that you have an advantage. That's all it means. You have a better chance at winning, right? So keep that in mind. You want to look for your unfair advantages, but you don't want to believe that just because you have the advantages that you can let off the gas in other areas of your business. All right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.